So if you're somebody who has decided that you want to begin the process of selling online courses, or even if you've sold them in the past before, you are likely one among many, myself included, who have a very difficult time of trying to determine what we should charge for our online course. But of course, you are not alone in this. And so what I want to do in this video is share with you some insight, both through my own experience selling my own online courses to building a number of other businesses, including SaaS products, as well as just being somebody who has purchased a number of online courses throughout the year, so I can provide some insight from both sides, both from the student and from the teacher, so you can start to get a better understanding of how much you should charge for your online course. Now, what I want to lead with is a very common misconception, and you will run into this all the time in the online course world, which is that you should tie the price to things like how many videos it includes in your course, or how many hours of content, or things like quizzes or worksheets. The problem, however, is that these are things that, while to some they might have some perceived value in them, in my personal experience and in my opinion, they're actually the opposite. Quizzes are common amongst many online course platforms today, but at the end of the day, they are busy work. They are a waste of time. They're there to help make sure that you are memorizing facts. And the reality for many of us is that memorization of facts does not equal learning, right? Putting into practice what you are learning, that is real learning. An example, if you're trying to learn how to use Figma and you want to become a graphic designer, it doesn't do much good for you to memorize all the different tools in the palette that Figma has available to you. You will just do that naturally as you start using Figma. What you need instead is principles, and then you need to put it into practice by creating something in Figma. The reality that a lot of people don't understand about online courses is that the quizzes and worksheets and busy work, you might as well just start tossing in coloring books at that point. But the busy work does the opposite of what the student wants. The student is looking to achieve a specific outcome. They want to learn Photoshop, or how to play the guitar, or the violin, or how to shoot a bow, right? These are things that they're trying to learn. And all that a quiz or busy work or worksheet, all that is just a roadblock that's being placed in front of them for no reason at all. That's just making it harder and taking more time for them to achieve the desired outcome. Okay, so if we're gonna cut out things like worksheets and PDFs and number of videos, what is it then that we should begin to base our price upon? And the answer to this is actually very simple. It is the specific transformation that you are providing to the student. If we're gonna go back to the archery example, it's taking somebody who didn't know anything about archery and bringing them up to a moderate level, or maybe if you're a super in-depth course and you do personal coaching alongside it, maybe you're gonna bring them even to a professional level. It's all about the journey. It's where they're starting and where they're ending. That endpoint, how valuable that endpoint is how much you want to charge for your class. Whether that takes 3 videos, or whether that takes 30, or whether it takes 100 videos, it doesn't matter. What matters is that end result and how valuable that is to the end person. Now, on that note, I'm gonna take this even a step further, and that would be that your online course, or many online courses out there, is probably too long. And that's because, again, everybody has just been stuck on this notion that the longer my video course is, the more valuable it is. In my personal opinion, and in my experience both making courses as well as consuming them, the shorter you can make your course, the more valuable it becomes. Because what do people have that they can never gain any more of, right? You can always gain more money, you can always gain more material goods, but you can never gain more time. So if I have 2 courses that are being presented to me that offer the exact same outcome, and one can do it in 3 hours, and the other says that they're gonna do it in 9, even if that 3-hour course costs double, I will probably pick that one as long as I'm sure that the outcome is the same. It just has always seemed so strange to me that in almost every other market and every other industry, if you save people time, you can actually charge for that time saved. But for whatever reason, in the online course world, people think that the more time that they waste, the more they can charge for the course. Okay, so now that we've got all of that out of the way, as I mentioned earlier, we want to focus on providing a transformation and determining the value of that transformation. So now we have to ask the question, once we've established what that transformation is, right? You're going to become proficient in photography. You're going to learn how to play the guitar. You're going to become a violinist. You're going to learn watercolor. You're going to learn accounting. Whatever it is, whatever the transformation is, and in whatever time period you're going to bring people from beginner to intermediate or even to expert, we need to determine how valuable that transformation is. And so there is no set defined rules for these things. As I'm sure you've encountered, pricing is one of those things that nobody really knows for sure, because the question is always not necessarily what you think it's worth, it's what are people willing to pay. Okay, so some great places that you can start. Look in your industry, and a good place to start is with other courses, right? See what other people are charging and see what types of information or transformation that they're providing through their course. That's a good starting point, but just because everybody else is charging $40 or $50 for their course doesn't mean you have to. And in fact, it might even be better, particularly if you have a unique approach or a niche within that industry, to charge a lot more. But other things that you can look for in that industry that might clue you in into being able to charge a little bit more is other products and services that are not online courses, and see what people are charging for them. If there's a consultant who teaches people how to get better at managing finances for small business, and he charges $2,000 or $3,000 a month for that, oh, well then maybe my course could be like $1,400 or $1,500 or something like that. Try to determine what people are paying for particular transformations and see where you can fit your course into that. And I just want to take a quick aside here, because I don't want you to think that I'm necessarily just throwing things out there randomly. The best course I think that I have ever taken costed me in the neighborhood of $2,000. It is the Product Launch Formula by Jeff Walker. I'm no longer an affiliate. I used to be, so I earn no commission by mentioning that. It was a very expensive course compared to almost every other course out there, but it was worth every penny. So I provide this as an example because it had nothing to do with the number of videos. There were no worksheets. There were templates, there were guides that helped me actually use his process faster, rather than just meaningless quizzes or busy work or coloring sheets that were just meant to make it feel like it was more valuable. It was valuable because by the time I finished that class, I had learned a number of skills that helped me further in my business. Okay, I just wanted to mention that as a quick aside, just to kind of illustrate why you're probably not charging enough for your course. But that being said, there is a very clear delineation if you are not sure what you're going to do your course on or who you're going to market your course to. There's a clear delineation between B2B and B2C. So business to business and business to customer or consumer. In the B2B world, it goes without saying, pretty much everybody knows this, and if you don't, you do now, you can charge a lot more in the B2B world. Now, there are a lot more challenges that come in the B2B world, particularly if you're starting to reach enterprise levels, because you have to talk to supervisors and managers, and you have to reach the right people with that course. And people who are in those types of positions might not always be looking for education, and if they are, you might have to be accredited. So there's some challenges that come along with that, but generally speaking, in the B2B world, you can charge a lot more. In the B2C world, it totally depends, right? If it is in the financial sector, if it is something that isn't a scam but can teach people how to make money, generally you can charge a decent amount more than if you are teaching people how to play piano, particularly if it's purely on a hobby basis and not trying to bring somebody to an expert level pianist. Now, on that note, if you do have built into your course some sort of ROI, return on investment, again, I would always advise you to talk to a lawyer, and I wouldn't make any bold claims that you can't back up, but if there is some sort of return on investment, right? So if the transformation, for example, is how to start getting more clients for your media agency, right? That's what your class is. And something that you are helping people do is get 10 clients within 30 days or within 6 months or something like that. Well, there's a tangible monetary value attached to getting new clients. And because that's the case, you know that you can charge a much higher rate for that information and for the process and the transformation that you're giving people through your video course. Another thing worth considering as well is considering tiered pricing, right? And so the way that this would work is you'd have maybe one package that's only the course, And then maybe at the other end of the spectrum, you would have an option that has personal coaching and consulting with you, or personal feedback, or personal lessons where you critique their work and their projects and the things that they might be struggling with and have one-on-one connection with you. It provides you an avenue so that you can sell an unlimited number of, just the course itself, but then you can fill maybe 5 or 10 slots with one-on-one Zoom calls with you, and you can charge a significant amount more. Now, one of the challenges with that, however, is that if people don't know you that well yet, it's very difficult to get people from a place of considering whether to buy your course or whether to buy your course and then add on coaching. If they haven't gone through your course yet, they might not necessarily be fully sold on that you're going to be able to help them solve their problem. And so what I really like to see course creators do instead is to just sell the course for what it is, and at the end offer an upsell. Because by that point, if they've finished your class, you already know they have interest in you. You already know that they are compelled to go through the course content. And so it's at that point they're going to be the most likely to buy some sort of coaching with you, because they've already started to experience some transformation, and maybe they just need some help and some particular critiques or ideas or feedback on something that they are working on or they're personally struggling with that maybe not everybody else is. But part of the reason I think this is so great is it already gets you revenue up front, but it just helps you tack on even more revenue on the back end of being able to monetize your expertise for those who want to spend a little bit more to get your personalized feedback. So I wish I could give you a specific list of what you should charge based upon your industry, but like I said earlier, it really just depends. What I hoped to do in this video was to help you shift your mindset a little bit away from this charging for stuff and instead charging more for what your course can actually help people do. Because at the end of the day, that's what they're paying for. They're paying for a transformation, to either become different or to learn something new or to gain something that's going to help them either in their life or in their career. And the faster and easier you provide a way for people to be able to do that, the more you're going to be able to charge, the more testimonials you'll get, and hopefully the more students you will get as well. So as a quick side note, I am personally building out a online course platform called TeachKit. It is designed to make it a lot easier for teachers to teach and students to learn. You can check that out at teachkit.co. Again, that's teachkit.co. As always, if you found this video useful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.